Hi, my name is Vanessa and I'm a mental health survivor. I think my story begins back when I was around 12 years old. Um, I knew that there was something wrong with me, but I just didn't know exactly what it was. I thought for a long time that people just felt the same way that I felt and just didn't talk about it. It wasn't until I got into high school that I realized that thinking of wanting to kill myself all the time was not normal. Um, because of all that, I went into counseling for college, and I kind of just wanted to understand what was wrong with me and all the thoughts that went into my head that were not necessarily normal. And I figured out during that time that I had major depression, and it was actually a little worse than that. 2 years ago, or maybe three, I was hospitalized for the first time, and it was a really low point in my life. Um, I was diagnosed with anxiety, depression, and bipolar disorder. Um, I think some of the lowest points have been because of my mental illness in my life. I'm only 30, but I've been living with this since the age of 12. I think there's been a few moments that I can really look back at and think, wow, I can't even believe that I'm still here. There was this time in college when I walked towards this bridge to end my life, and then it just started raining out of nowhere, and I ended up calling my friend, and he picked me up and took me back to my dorm. And I don't think moments like that happen in people's lives, are supposed to happen in people's lives, but they do. I think of I thought about this yesterday, and I was like, I'm not really going to be a survivor of this until the day that I die by natural causes, or the day that I die not due to my own hands. It's just a daily struggle that I have to face, and people like me have to face. And I think the hardest part is that there's a whole bunch of stigma behind it. People don't really understand what it's like to have an invisible disability. They see you as normal, and especially when you're happy or when you're trying to hide it, but it's just part of you every day. When I drive, I have to make sure that I'm focused on driving and not necessarily just accidentally going off the road. I take medication on a daily basis to get by, but even with medication, they don't really tell you that you're not necessarily going to feel just like everybody else. You're not going to feel normal. It's just something to keep you from having those thoughts, really, and acting on them. One thing that's really helped me, though, is I've become a mental health advocate. I talk about it openly on social media. I have an Instagram that is dedicated completely to my daily life as a person with mental illness. I talk about the hard things and the fun things, the good things, because not all of it is bad. But I just kind of wish that people would understand what it's like, because it's really hard to explain. Just moments where you just are on top of the world, and then all of a sudden everything just seems like it's crashing on you, and you don't feel like you can breathe. I wish people would understand that, especially my family. As much as I love them and as much as they've been there for me, they don't really understand what it's like to live with this disease, to feel like you're at war with your mind at all times. It's not natural. It's not normal, from what I think. The day that I was in the hospital, or the day that I was admitted, I thank God for my dad, because he came and listened, and he just understood. And I hadn't seen my mom for like 2 days, and they finally came to visit me, and the look on her face was just sheer disappointment. Disappointed that I felt like she was disappointed that I was her daughter. I just wish there was a little bit more understanding of all this. And that's why I wanted to come and talk about it, because it's my life on a daily basis. There's not a day that I wake up and I feel okay. This was my first ever piece that I ever wrote, and it was about my mental illness. I might just read it the way I perform it, if that's okay. Okay. At night, my legs are still restless, as if they know that even in my dreams, I'm still looking for something. Something I have not found in the embrace of a lover, something I have not found in the eyes of my own mother. Instead, it's the emptiness I feel. For I am at the deep end of the pool and I am sinking, tiny gasp of air and a small cry for help, but no one can hear me. But no worries, for I do not fear my fate. I fear the process, the day by day that I have to continue searching. We come into this world with empty arms, and empty again we will leave, but we're still looking for things to fill them, like a warm embrace. But I have tried to find that warm embrace, and I am tired of trying to open my legs to try to open my own heart. Instead, I am looking within. But no one warned me that inside would not be pretty. Instead of a field of flowers, I have stumbled into a dump, a place where depression and anxiety have mated and spawned forth insecurities. I am not thin enough. I am not beautiful enough. I am not worthy of love. But I have started the cleaning process. It's an all-day sale and everything must go. I am emptying the room within and sweeping away the cobwebs I have let fester within me for far too long. I will feng shui the shit out of my own heart. For no one, not even myself, is allowed to tell me that I am unlovable. Instead, I will sit in the room that is my empty heart and I will love myself. But those damn roommates. Depression and anxiety are here to stay and they want to invite their friends to the party. Just when I think the place is spotless, here come my roommates to show me how much damage they can actually make. Depression makes a cushion out of my heart while anxiety focuses on pestering my mind. They are untamable. But why not just think happy thoughts? Because this is the real life and not a fucking Disney movie. Instead, I will focus on myself, my very soft and lovable self. Even when depression keeps me in bed and anxiety keeps me awake, I will love myself regardless of my faults. I will be my own warm embrace and hope that even in my dreams, my legs will no longer be restless. So I wrote that because I was struggling a lot with depression and anxiety at the time, and I just felt like it was a way that I could release everything. And kind of talking through all of this, I see how negative it can be. But the thing is that I'm here because I'm a survivor. And I know I'm a survivor because I'm still here. I think a lot of the hope that has come into my life has been because of my faith and my relationship with God. I know a lot of people don't believe in God, and that's totally okay. But for me, it's been my saving grace. When I went to college, I turned down a scholarship to Texas Tech for music because I wanted to pursue counseling, and I went to a Bible school instead, not too far away from Dallas, actually. If I hadn't gone to that school, I don't think I'd be alive today, because that's when my depression really started getting worse and the suicidal thoughts were like a constant battle. And everything just kind of got easier when I found God. It never went away, and I'm not going to say it's going to go away. And good people with a lot of faith have told me in a really kind of messed up way that God could take away everything that I had. And I prayed for that. But when it didn't go away, when God didn't take away all my pain and all the things that I had to deal with, I started really hating him for it. And then I realized, I kind of just had this conversation with God. I was praying and it just kind of came to me that, even with all of this, even with the trials, even with all the pain, it's not like he's not there. It's not like he's left me. He's still with me, even when I feel like I'm by myself. I was in a class. I finished undergrad and then I started grad school there. And I was doing a group therapy class, and I just started opening up and sharing what was going on. And this girl in my class, she just felt like this verse was for me. And the thing that I got out of it the most was, it says, "No weapon formed against me shall prosper." That was from God. Like, that verse was there, and she told that to me to let me know that even though I was dealing with depression, even though I had all these mental health issues, that he wasn't going to leave my side, that even though it's there, it's not going to take over. It's not going to let me sink. He's not going to let me sink. He's going to be there for me and with me every step of the way. I think the biggest advice that I can give anybody else that's dealing with mental illness, because I know several, is to vocalize it. Be open about it. Don't be afraid of what people are going to think, because there are going to be people in your life that are going to just leave, that are not going to be strong enough to deal with it. And I've had those people leave, but it kind of helped me because it showed me who really cared. It showed me who was really there for me. I think opening up about it was the biggest relief. It was just kind of like just a sigh of relief of all this shit that's going on in my head. All these things that are haunting me are no longer have power over me, because I have words and I can vocalize what they are, and people around me that love me can tell me what it's true and what is not, because a lot of the time I forget. I get convinced by the thoughts in my head that I'm not good enough, or that I'm not loved and I'm not wanted. And the people that do care and do love me will set me straight. I have a background in counseling, so I definitely feel like seeing a counselor is really, really important. Finding somebody that you trust, even if it's not a counselor, I mean, like, go to a friend that you really trust who's just going to listen. It's so, you can't do it alone. You really can't. You have to rely on somebody. You have to be open about what's going on, because if you don't vocalize it, no one's ever going to see it. I mean, mental illness is it's so invisible that, and then you get really good at hiding it, that people around you are not going to know. So if you just open up and talk about it, it will change your life. It's changed mine. My name is Vanessa, and I'm a survivor.